Well, I was supposed to shoot you guys a mukbang featuring proteins that were seasoned 3 ways: chicken base, beef base, and a seasoning blend that I've made. And on top of that, technically 4 ways because you gotta include salt and pepper. My dumbass forgot to label, save 3 pieces from each color. This is all I got. Roast pork. That's all I got. Ain't that a bitch? Oh well. Family rules. Family rule is that if it's in the refrigerator, not labeled for a specific purpose, it gets eaten. That's my fault. But yeah, woke up with a sore headache today. And this vlog is basically going to be a breakdown of cooking the video for this cooking video that I have for the new series called, and I'm going to try to put it here as well, feeding your family while being priced out of paradise. Simply because we live in a state where, or rather in general, we live in a country of excess. And because we live in a country of excess, because we live in a country of excess, we tend to forget that people who are below the poverty line are doing it. So again, and I've said this before in the cooking video that I made, that while yes, I am receiving food stamps, and the way the food stamps work is it's supposed to be for me, discretion says that basically it's up to my discretion what I want to do with it. So if I want to share my leftovers with my family, they can have it. I just can't buy for my family. So that's one way you can actually hack the system. But no, not to say that you should, which you shouldn't. You should follow the rules and all of that. But because we live in Hawaii, and Hawaii being one of the more expensive cities, even though we have one of the greatest not architectural, but agricultural potential per capita land-wise, if that makes any sense, we should be able to, and privy to, the best ingredients as possible, especially being on what we call, and I'll put it here too, SNAP, which stands for Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. But a lot of people didn't want to do that. So when I was cooking this video, when I was doing this cooking video, doing all of the prep before I got sick, I'm kind of suffering with a bout of what they call sinusitis, where you have a buildup of mucus right over here and right over here. So this is basically your forehead and your cheeks are where your sinuses are, and it's a buildup of where you want to sneeze but you can't. And I was planning to cook 3 additional sides, a salad using the beef drippings, pork drippings, and make it in, basically it's pan drippings, and make it into a vinaigrette using different protein fats. Mix it up and make a nice vinaigrette with it, with a little bit of Dijon mustard, mixed greens, and then we have, like, since we have pasta, I'm gonna use that pasta salad with a pomodoro sauce. And pomodoro I thought was super hard to make, but this right here, believe it or not, was made with a toaster oven. So basically the base ingredient is oven roasted tomatoes. What you do is I know you guys can't see it, but what you do is you put the setting to here. So this is basically where bake should be. You set it to the highest temperature first for 30 minutes. Drizzle with a little bit of olive oil. Make sure that you have basically a foil tin where you can reflect all of the heat around the tomatoes, creating your own convection oven. Instead of using that big ass oven, you can use this one by doing that. And in doing so, you're roasting and condensing the flavor of the tomatoes, similar to tomato paste. So you roast that off probably an hour and a half in there. I would say this one goes up to 450 degrees. So go 450 degrees for half an hour. Turn down the heat to 325 and let it set. It won't burn. I promise you, it will not burn. And once it's done, it should be like a jam-like consistency when you put it in the pan, with fresh tomatoes, onions, garlic, and then a few dried herbs such as rosemary, thyme, chives, parsley, and oregano. And basically what the pomodoro sauce is, basically it's like a thick, chunky tomato sauce that's been cooked out. Not ideal for pizza because you gotta finely dice the onions, not puree the onions, but finely dice it. So it gives a nice texture and a nice bite to it. But I do have this wonderful pomodoro sauce. I don't have frickin' chicken. I got roast pork, but there ain't no beef. And if you think I'm zooming in, I'm actually bringing the camera close to me. You guys can't see. If I could find like some place where I can actually see my reflection, it's like, okay, I ain't got no beef, so I'm bringing the camera closer. But yeah, making this video was fun. I just, since my mom and dad's, my late father's wedding anniversary is, I might as well scrap the cooking footage. It took me 3 hours. Ma,
Yeah,
did you know it took me 3 hours to prep all of those ingredients?
that's not good.
It is good because it wasn't on camera. They didn't see the behind the scenes. This camera was supposed to shoot the behind the scenes. It took me 3 hours.
Especially for people like us.
No, in video content, that's movie magic. Cause like when I was able to get a hold of the people that I told you about, they said spend the time to prep outside your camera, and then say for example you're gonna have a regular meal, just set aside like 2 or 3 ingredients. Let's say for example half an onion, right? So you have half an onion, you show them how to dice it and put it in a pan that's already going. That's what they do, and I'm like. So I had that moment. It took me I prepped the day before, and most of the ingredients, all you need to do is throw them in water anyways, and deep fry them. The tofu the pork lang you deep fry and all of that. But man, they didn't even save me anything. She didn't save me anything. She enjoyed almost everything. But yeah, so I spent 3 hours the day before yesterday prepping everything. So the seasoning for this pork, the onions during the day I prepped. Basically, if this was an actual professional shoot, call time would be around 8:30. I missed call time, so I reassigned call time to 1 o'clock because I didn't have an appointment. I was supposed to have my therapy appointment, but my therapist couldn't be able to do it because he had another pressing matter that he had to attend to. Cutting the onions, cutting all of that, then it took me about 10 minutes. Again, I'm not a professional chef. I'm just a hobbyist chef. I help friends who have their own catering business, and I've done this on and off for 14 years. Basically that's about it. So I'm gonna have to spend almost. After I finish my dinner, let me try the pomodoro sauce with this roast pork. Now, you might think it's raw, but it's pink. So, basically, it was cooked to roughly 160 degrees. So, this is basically medium rare. Pork is one of those things where it's an old wives' tale that you have to cook it through. Rather, you really don't have to. It kind of knackers the flavor of the pork. And even though this is commercial pork, meaning that it's grown in mass quantities and all of that, most pork, aside from the wild boar, has a very sweet flavor, and you want to taste that sweetness. The only downside is I didn't sear it in bacon fat, which was the original plan. That was an experiment gone good. Sweetness and the savory flavor from the pomodoro. I'll put captions so don't worry. The sweet and savoriness from the pomodoro. Ooh, that's nice. Ma, come. Nice, come, try something. I didn't think it was gonna be good, but it's good. The pomodoro needs a little bit of salt though. Try. Wait, put some more.
Not that much.
No, try it. You need that. You need
No, that one is good.
Okay. So mom's trying the pan roasted pork with pomodoro. How is it? The sauce needs a little bit of salt, yeah?
No, tama lang.
For real? Okay. I guess it's my best of taste, but also if you smoke, By the way, this is for everybody that's on EBT, and this is for flavor. What generally, if you smoke or you're a very heavy drinker, what I found is that while doing the test cook for everything, prior to me making the first episode of the series, prior to making the test cooking for this series, the first episode of the series, what I found is that when you smoke, whether it be vaping or regular cigarettes or even cigars, and if you're a heavy drinker or were a heavy drinker, or this goes also if you were a smoker, your palate, the tongue, in other words, and the roof of your mouth, which is also a palate, dulls. So things that aren't generally salty will be salty. Things that are too sweet will be sweet. And again, this is case to case basis. So what you want to do is follow your normal seasoning pattern, and then have somebody taste it just to verify. So that's what I did, was I had my mom taste to verify. Now, generally, when you're seasoning a thick cut piece of meat, here's another pro tip from the behind the scenes and ending vlog. You generally want to season for every ounce or for every pound. I would say that was about a good 2-3 pounds of meat in that from the pork. I would go a tablespoon to a tablespoon and a half of salt per pound, and that would be also a half tablespoon to a half teaspoon, depending on your preference, of course, because the recipe is a recipe just for a guideline. It's not really something that you gotta follow by the book. No, it's something that you can tweak depending on what you like. So I'm tired, I'm hungry, and I can't make it to Sam's Club in time because my head is still pounding. So I'm gonna close out the vlog. Hopefully you guys like it. Probably include some B-roll footage in this vlog to show you that I actually cooked something. And I'm not just saying that, I'm not just talking out of my ass when I say I've cooked for 14 years on and off as a hobbyist. But I've actually done this to where I've experimented with a lot of the recipes, and I really have to thank my mom and my grandpa for this series, simply because my grandfather at the time, when he gave my mom the recipes, was also suffering from severe health issues. And at the same time too, my brother was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, as well as kind of like a kidney disease, but not really, where his kidneys weren't functioning properly due to the diabetes. So my grandpa gave my mom recipes, and my mom would show me the recipes and all of that, and she would teach me a lot about it. And on top of that, I also have to thank my late father. My late father was the one that actually brought me into the kitchen, and the first dish that we made together was a Burmese, and I'm hoping to premiere this part on the anniversary of my father's death. It's called salumakin. Salumakin is basically it's kind of like a pastry sugar cream and all of that, mixed with until a dough ball forms, and it's kind of like a super thick oatmeal cake that I want to preview for you guys. So that was actually one of the first dishes, on top of learning how to season from my dad and my mom, and then having a really good culinary arts teacher in college, not in college but in high school, and several friends who've helped me along this journey, like giving their input, since I talked to them about this and asked them to be some of the references for this, for my notes specifically. What could do this, what could do that, as well as since they've been in contact with YouTubers who cook frequently and who have viewers upwards of 450 views a day. I just want to say thank you to them, and to my friends and family who support my channel. Thank you guys, thank you so much. And if you're watching this vlog and you're new, just so happen to pop up on your recently uploaded part of your feed, check me out. Check out what I got to offer. I upload what I like. If you don't like my content, that doesn't bother me. If you got something constructive to say, I'll listen to it. If you need a friend to vent to on that forum, please do. And as always, if you like anything you see on my channel, give me a thumbs up, not a thumbs down. And if you're new to my channel, click the subscribe button with the